Hey everyone, welcome to Rise to Thrive and welcome today as we do another live manifesting generator human design reading with Suzi Barrett. And I'm so excited to have her on today to share the gifts of her chart with you and how she integrates that into her business. I'm Courtney Koenig, and I'm igniting your human design to become a powerful, profitable, purposeful boss of your business, of your career, and of your life, because you are in control. You have the magic within you, and I am shining a light on that magic so you can lean onto it even more and utilize those gifts to feel more you. And the more you that you feel, the more empowered that you have, the more skills, the more gifts that you can utilize in your business, and the faster things flow towards you. Last week, we spoke in the masterclass all about velocity, right? And all about how we can gain velocity with our human design, right? Everybody wants things fast and quick, right? But each design type has a way that they make things happen. And within that, it brings this feeling towards you of abundance, this feeling of energy, this feeling of satisfaction. And all of those things are alignment. All of those things make a difference in who you are. And who you are shows up in your business every single day, right? In every single post, in every single story. You guys hear me say all the time, your energy attracts others before you even open your mouth. And so as you put out great content and as you put out great, making great connections and messages, we want you to be aligned and feel your gifts backing you up even more. So you guys, last week was amazing with the masterclass. It was so beautiful, and seeing you guys all jump on the podcast. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for listening. You guys, it is incredible. It is mind-blowing. I have a couple winners to announce from last week. So let's see. We have, all right, the winner of a free month of Become is Amber Menard. Oh, congrats, Amber. So excited for you. The winner of a human design reading. So it's my eyes on your chart. You get a video of me going through your chart. Is Felicia Kissel. Congrats, you guys. So exciting. Thank you so much for sharing in your stories. Thank you for subscribing, for reading and leaving reviews. I just want to share a couple of reviews on the podcast that were just so touching to me. One said, life-changing. This podcast has already put me way ahead in my personal life and as I grow my coaching business. A must listen to everyone looking to know more about who they can become. Oh, and then the next one is Courtney is absolutely incredible teacher and coach. She breaks down all that makes up each human design type into easy to understand, digestible pieces. And even better, the way she teaches allows you to seamlessly take what she teaches and apply it to your own business for immediate, powerful impact. I highly recommend this podcast. Thank you guys so much. And drop podcast in the links and the comments, and we'll get you the links. It's very touching to me to see all the stories shared, to see all the reviews come in, all the subscriptions. It's mind-blowing. And I love that you guys are doing the work behind becoming more you. All right. We have a beautiful, amazing, talented woman coming on. She is a personal trainer, Suzi Barrett, and she is specialized in habit change, weight management, injury prevention, and rehabilitation. She hosts the Habits and Humor podcast, is an international speaker, and author of Life Conscious. She has combined her work with her degree as a health educator to research habits, and now helps people to find that happiness with their habits to create the future that they're looking for. She emphasizes these simple habits as keys to health, happiness, and success. So please welcome Suzi to our show today. Hey, Suzi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me here.
Good. Thank you. So tell us where you're coming in from.
I'm in Idaho in the USA.
I'm happy to be here. Awesome. Great. Excellent. And so we like to get to know our guests when they come on. So I would love to hear, is there a favorite book or show that you're into lately?
Oh, there's many, many, many. What am I reading right now? I'm loving. I just got into Ed Milet's One More, The Power of One More. And I'm also reading The Gap in the Gain. I love the gap in the gain concept. Yeah, we could go on this conversation all day.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, is there a favorite place that you've traveled to?
My favorite place in the world that I have been is probably Kauai. I absolutely loved Kauai. I thought it was amazing.
Oh, my family and I just went to Oahu in July. I want to go back so bad, and Kauai is like on my list to go. Is it? Do you feel like it's more tropical or like a different look feel? I don't know.
I liked Kauai because in a 2-hour drive, you go through like 5 different ecosystems. Like it was amazing. I've never been anywhere like that you could get that many different kinds of island life in that short of a period. And I mean, there's like a rainforest in the middle, and there's the dry side on the bottom, which is more like a desert. And then there's the wet side on the top, which is like a tropical rainforest. I mean, there's waterfalls right on the beach, and then there's in between there, you have to like go through the jungle in order to get to the beach. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it.
That sounds incredible. We loved Hawaii. We're obsessed. So we definitely want to go back. So that is, Kauai was on our list. We were trying to like Kauai, Maui, to hit another island. Oh, they're just so amazing. So, all right. So you are new to human design, and I'm excited to dive into your chart and share the gifts that you were born with. And we were talking before, kind of giving this brief glimpse of what it's like to be a manifesting generator. But I really, I want everybody to know too, the more that we learn our human design type, just the type, the charts, there's a lot on that chart, right? So, and there's a lot to be overwhelmed with, but I like breaking it down into very digestible bits. Like, what is the information and what can we do about it, right? And so if we can live within our type, we have one already. So you're a manifesting generator, and you have this, you're a multitasking master. Multitasking is your thing. You just do it, you're more focused when there's a lot on your plate. And I love that reaction. And I get that all the time. People, when I say, hey, this is what you are, even though we don't know each other, we haven't been best friends for our whole lives, you laugh and you're like, oh my goodness, you smile. That's what I get all the time, right? So your quickest way to get the end results is not necessarily a linear line. Okay, so it's not like an ABC process. For you, it's an A, or no, it might be like start at C, jump to W, come back to A, go to P, so it's a very non-linear process. And what you're doing in that process is you're picking up every single thing that is necessary for that next level, experience, goal, whatever you're trying to achieve and create. And you can see and kind of visualize, there's this manifestor part of you that can kind of see and visualize, okay, I don't really need to go through all these steps, A through Z in that order to create the best product or coaching package or whatever you're doing, so that it's just you're gathering that intelligence and that experience from each of those line points. But so often manifesting generators are told, hey, would you just like focus? There's even a whole Pinterest on stop multitasking, like multitasking is bad, right? And that is a phrase that I want you to take out of your language forever. Kick it to the curb. It's never going to serve you. And when you or people are trying to frame you in like, well, just, do one thing at a time, it will help you concentrate more. Just be like, that doesn't work for me. That's not how I operate. That's not how my gifts are utilized best. But you're impressive in your emotion and your speed. You can create things very quickly once you've found your speed. So you have this speedy creator. You're like, you have this idea, you have this desire to do something. So you respond to that. And once you respond to that right thing, then you are off and going and you get it done. And people are like, whoa, wait, you're done with that already? How is that even possible? And that is a gift. So oftentimes we think like, oh, well, that's just something cool I do, but that is a gift and not everybody can do that. So my design is a projector and I don't have that natural energy. I have to harness it from environments or moods or piggyback off of other people's energy in order to get more of my own. So that is really beautiful. So you have this immense sustainable energy, this kind of abundance of energy that just keeps on going and keeps on going. And especially when you're working in your wholehearted work, especially when it's something that you're passionate about, you can just go forever because it doesn't feel like work. It's just like, oh, I can do and do and do. It can be really late or really early, and you're just go, 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 get it done. And that's the speed that you want to stay in. How has this work, how does your work give you this passion and this energy? How does it fulfill you?
It's totally drives my energy and passion for sure. I like I mentioned at the beginning, I use what I'm excited about and what I love. I went into as a career. I absolutely love athleticism and all things sports and fitness. So I became a personal trainer and a health educator. And then I, went through some things in my life, and my real life experiences, of course, affect what I am passionate about and how I feel about those things. And so combining those two worlds together and building a business out of it has been absolutely a gift. It has just been, like you said, I was never a morning person until I had a business that I was passionate about. And now I can work late into the night. I can wake up early in the morning, and I'm always energized about it. I just absolutely love what I do.
It fills your soul. Yeah. Well, and that's like, you mentioned you had experiences that fueled you into this and helped you want to dive into this and share this with other people. And again, that's all those points along the way fuel these experiences. So often we think, well, there has to be a certification involved, or there has to be this degree, and those are really good. But the best thing that we can bring is to our businesses is our experience, and so relaying that and saying, hey, I've been there, I've done that, and now I'm going to let me show you the way is a beautiful thing. So now on your chart, there's a not self theme, and every manifesting generator has the same not self theme. And this is a warning sign that you're not living your design. And so this is frustration and anger. Now you might be like, well, I don't really feel like a frustration and angry kind of person. You have good energy. You're not like yelling at the world here, type of thing. But what I want you to be mindful of is, what does that feel like to me? Does that feel like annoyed, resentful, uninspired, kind of blah? That's also for an MG. To feel blah is you're not living within your human design. And a human design is really just teaching you, hey, listen to your gifts, use your gifts, instead of fighting against it. So your days can feel, when you're not living your design and you're not utilizing these gifts, your days can feel like you're just getting burnt out, either by life or career or whatever. And it's not lighting you up. It's not giving you that, inspiring thing. And I know there's things in every business and every life that's just not inspiring, and we just do it. But if the most of our life or the most of our business feels blah or uninspiring, or we feel taken advantage of, or in one way or another, then that frustration and that anger come into play. Now with that generator side, your generator side is a lot of your energy. It's powering all that energy. It's like, hey, here. I can power this. I can get you up early. I can work late. We're working in our passion that refuels you. Almost, it's like this fire that's burning. And every time you work in your work, you add another log to it. And it's like, becomes this bonfire within you. Now, if you take that and you apply it to an area where you're just not so passionate about, or you're forced to work in a, either you volunteer for something, you're like, gosh, I should not have done that, this anger and this frustration feeling will come around. And so you have, as you're following your passion and you're taking your steps to continue to follow your passion, to expand your practice as we're all expanding our businesses. How does this feeling maybe uninspired or blah, have you seen this in your life? Have you felt this frustration or anger feeling in your career?
Oh, that's totally my go-to emotion is anger. No doubt. I very rarely cry, and I cry, like, I get emotional about things, but
No.
sadness is not my, I don't feel sad very often, but I do feel angry and frustrated frequently. And I would say that's definitely the killer of momentum and progress for sure. I agree with that. But I also have learned, like I said, over past 10 years or so in my experiences in my career, I've learned how to recognize that. And so that's, and to realize usually the antidote for me, for my anger and frustration is to make it smaller, to make it simpler, to make it, something I can do right now. Usually that frustration comes because the thing is too big or too far away. And I think a lot of us probably experience that with a big goal or a big dream or something. And it feels like you're just slogging through the mud and you can't quite get there. But with that frustration, instead of, focusing on that end piece and how far away we are, what can I do right now that's going to matter? What's going to move what's going to take one step forward? And that sort of is what I've learned. Just those small habitual changes, that day-to-day practices that move my progress forward so that I always feel like I'm moving in the right direction, even if I am in a place of frustration or something I don't understand, like you were talking about before with the, maybe I'm not going A, B, C, D, but I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. If I allow myself to get frustrated, those things can be very confusing. Whereas if I just allow myself to realize what can I do right now, just work on one thing right now, make it simple, make it small, keep it moving in the right direction, then those hard left turns and those random order sequences end up being a really good thing for me. And they always come together at some point. Whether it's on my timeline or not is a different matter. But
yes. Well, and especially as an MG, that phrase, keeping it simple, is almost like, wait, it's because you have so much energy, because you have so much vision to want to do all the things, that is hard to keep things simple, right? And so one idea becomes this huge thing, and it can be overwhelming, right? And it can create this anger and this disconnect with, well, I know that's where I need to go because I can feel it, right? I can feel that's the direction I need to go in. It seems really big. So I'm looking at how can you, break that down into pieces? How can you delegate that or delete or diminish enough to still get that goal accomplished, to still get that next step accomplished? So really building your support around yourself and recognizing, okay, when I feel angry, okay, what's going on, and instead of just pushing through it, like, just take a second, take a step back, see what's off, and see what can be managed, right?
I think that's so key to just applying it to personal training. That's what a lot of what I work with my clients on as well is, they're performing a back squat or something, and all of a sudden their knee feels uncomfortable. Rather than push through that pain, I always, always, always encourage them to vocalize that. Tell me exactly what you're feeling, exactly what's going on, and then we try to tweak something. Probably there's just a little form that's off. Maybe if we move your foot 1 centimeter, the problem is solved and you'll get your progress back. It's very simple, very small things, generally speaking, that feel like they're these big barriers. But when we look at, okay, what can I do to break down this barrier? What can I do to, do something right here, right now? That's always the key that, keeps you moving in the right direction.
Right. Yes, totally. And I like in the comments too, like, building habits. What can I do about this right now? I love that, you guys. What can I do about this right now? And just taking those steps, because it's all going to fall into place. And especially as an MG, this is kind of the part I'm a little jealous of your design type. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can just like create and go and go. Whereas for projectors or manifestors and reflectors who do not have this natural energy source, this natural flame and burning, that takes a little bit more time and looks a little bit differently, and they have to build a little bit more support. So now on your chart, there is a profile, and you're a 1-3 profile. Profile is our personality. So the first number is how you see yourself, and the second number is how others see you. And sometimes we have a blind spot to how we see ourselves, or what gifts lay there, or we have a blind spot to how others see us. And the more that we can connect those together, the more that we're building this beautiful puzzle. When we build our puzzle, everybody else can fit in with us too as well, right? And we're not fitting in with them, but we come together to form a beautiful picture and link arms together. So you're this establisher of knowledge and truth. And number 1 is a knowledge seeker. On the inside, you see yourself as an investigator of seeking out facts and information. You're more confident when you're armed with the facts. That makes you feel comfortable. Number 3 is experimenter. And the experimenter is testing out life, seeing what works and what doesn't, kind of this trial and error process. But when 3s are experimenting, they really need to remember that there's no failure, because each opportunity is a learning process, because you're experimenting and finding out what works and what doesn't, and you could pivot and change and go from direction to direction. So nothing is a failure, because it's all framed within this learning experience. So as this 1-3 comes together, your truth evolves as you evolve. You know your stuff, and people can trust that you know your stuff. This kind of authoritarian figure, because those facts speak for themselves, and you can pull those in and help people as you're coaching them. You have tried it, and you've tried things, and you've filtered it through your high standard. So you've made this conglomerate of your coaching practice, of your systems, of your processes, through trying it out yourself, and also making the standard so rigorous that it is a no-brainer type of thing, you know? So what are your thoughts on this and seeing this in your coaching as you coach and train others?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm a born researcher. I've always said that. And I've always been a student my whole life. I told my husband I was going to get 100 college degrees by the time we were done. And I just absolutely love it. And part of that comes from, the world of coaching. Health coaching has become a rather convoluted term. And I believe that you need to be able to back up your experience with facts and with research and with proving what actually is truth, because every single person is different. Your experience of something is going to be vastly different than my experience of something. And so if I come to you with just my own experience and I say, this is how it's done, that's not going to work for everybody. It's going to work for people who are exactly like me, which is nobody. But if I come to you with my experience and I say, hey, this is how I experienced it, and this is what the research shows, and these are all of the other ways that we can go about this, let's do that trial and error, and let's figure out exactly what applies to you. I'm a huge believer in personalizing everything to yourself, because like you talked about, every single one of us is so different that every experience you have and every piece of coaching and every piece of knowledge that you gain it's going to be perceived and utilized differently based on, your own personality and your own experience in your own life. And so I personally agree with that 100%, that I absolutely believe trial and error is a necessary part of proving what works. And I fully back up and definitely am a seeker of knowledge. I'm always researching. I'm constantly making sure that I'm up to date on the research and up to date on the facts, and not just, swaying to and fro with the different products as they come and go.
Yes, really like anchored in on that. And I think that's so beautiful, because it is unwavering, especially in the personal coaching and health world, like there are so many ins and outs and things that come, and people are like, do this, do that, and so oftentimes people want quick fixes too, and recognizing that like there's not really a quick fix. You got to do the work, so
It'll be a quick fix, but it'll go away just as quick as it came.
That's a good idea.
If you want it to stick around, you're going to need a slow fix.
Right, exactly. Yeah, totally. I love that. All right, so on your chart, there are all in that diagram with the triangle, there's all these centers. Now, the centers are gifts that we can utilize, and the white centers are undefined, and they're gifts that kind of come in and out. They can be harnessed with mood, environment, or energy of other people, but we can also feel the energy of other people in those centers, which is really cool. So now the centers that are defined, they're colored in on your chart. Those are gifts that you always have with you. Those are things you can lean on as you help your clients and expand your practice and develop all the things. So your centers are ego, and that's the willpower. We often think ego, oh gosh, what is that? But we think the heart, your will in your heart. Wherever your heart goes is where you should go. You have, with that, you have this motivation to kind of like, oh, I'm going to go crush it, type of thing. That's like a good phrase for you. Let's go crush it, Whereas for non-egos or non-heart centers, they'd be like, let's just, I don't know. They would phrase it a different way, but that's a really good phrase for you. Whatever you choose, whatever like area that you choose to use this in, your will back it up. So goals, expansion, clients, whatever that is, it's going to back you up. You say, yes, I want this, and then you go do it. So now when there's a lot of times with there's this kind of double standard, right? Like with women and men, and I just want to go into this just a second, that this ambition, and then we can put this in the heart center, this center is this ambition, to go out, to get it done, to harness this. But it's such a good thing, right? It's such a good thing as women for us to embrace, and for you to embrace this ambition to go get it done, and to frame it as, when you're doing that, you're aligned with your true nature. Having that ambition aligns you with your true nature. So any other conditioning of phrasing or things like that don't suit that, you can kick that out to the curb, because it's not going to help you and suit you. And people just might understand like, well, why do you want your global practice? Why do we want to help all these people? They're just not going to understand, but you have it from inside your heart, and it's coming from that heart center, which we call the ego center. So you can kind of see how it really plays to your benefit and your abilities to go get that. So how have you seen this, like this kind of crush it, I'm going to go out there, this motivation to help your clients and your business, or even personally as well?
Yeah, I use that phrase often. Crush it. Yeah. I definitely am one that one of my foundational habits is, if it takes less than a minute to do it, just do it right then. I'm a list maker, and I always am putting things on my list. And I set this rule for myself a few years ago when I kind of figured that out, was just get it done, just go and do the thing, and then it never has to go on the list, or you can write it on the list just to check it off. I do that too.
Yes. Really
But yeah, I definitely use my ambition to be more productive. There were periods of my life where I feel like I lost my motivation, and I was very, very unproductive. And those periods were just not times when I was myself. Those were not times when I was happy. And I do much better when I have a lot to do, and when I have a busy schedule, and when I'm far more productive, and I get way more done if I have a lot to do. And so I definitely agree with that. And yeah, I definitely, I use that motivation often, both for myself and for my clients. I'm able to help them, be more efficient with the things that they're doing as well, because I can see it in a different way that they can.
Right. Give them a different light and give them, well, and having that gift of that willpower, you can gift that to other people through your words, through like, when, if I say crush it, it doesn't mean the same as you say crush it, you know? Like people don't get as inspired. So for you to use that, and I love this. This is what I love about human design is because again, looking over your chart, I was like, okay, let's talk about this and talk about this and this and this, and how aligned it goes with what you're experiencing, and how much more that now that we see it, we can do even more. You know, we can and decondition which those parts that are not, or those phrases that are not serving us. Like, hey, just kind of keep it small. We don't have to crush it, but you have to crush it. That's like a core value of yours is to do so. So any verbiage that goes against that, just be like, hey, that verbiage is not for me. I'm going to crush it, and so it creates this beautiful package of you. So, and your tools that work best for you with your gifts. All right. So another part of your, chart is your spleen, and your spleen is all about intuition. So this is a defined center on your chart. It's off to the left. It's a triangle towards the bottom on the left side of your chart. And the spleen is intuition and fears. Often we think about like, oh, well, intuition or fears, there's kind of this negative connotation, like, I just feel like I should do this, right? But that is where you want to lean into. You can tell that this is going to work out, right? You can sense that this is going to, what's coming next. And you can lean into that even more without having your mind, kind of taking your mind out of the equation and saying, hey, let's not overthink things. Let's just feel into them, as you've been building your business with, and I don't know if you have, this intuitive powers, like how have you seen this gift with your intuitive powers as you built your business or in your life?
Yeah, like you were talking about, as a multitasker, I'm very constantly aware of my priorities shifting and adjusting and moving. And I feel that I'm very, very intuitive in terms of what needs my most attention at what times. And like this summer, I didn't work hardly at all. And though that was pulling on my passion, I knew my family needed all of my energy. And so I was able to prioritize them over the business for a while. And now that my kids are back in school and my husband is at work, I can, dive fully into what feeds my soul this fulfillment at the moment. And I don't know, I love that I'm able to shift my priorities quickly and focus my energy in different ways. And I think that's part of that manifestation is what I see and the intuition of what I feel needs my attention. That's where I need to go. And I'm kind of an obsessive personality, and whatever I feel, whatever my intuition tells me I need to focus on, I really go all in and I crush it.
That's perfect. I love that. That's exactly right. Right. And as you're making decisions about your business, feeling into that intuition, that's going to be a sense of yours that you can feel into. And also with your human design type, you have this inner authority. Your inner authority is sacral. And the sacral inner authority is all about helping us make decisions. And so what's the best way that we can make decisions? So for an MG with a sacral inner authority, you're going to ask yourself yes or no questions. So to tap into this yes feels like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Kind of a lean in, like an excitement, kind of a, let's go do that. What the yes or no questions helps you to do is to tap into that sacral inner authority and to say, yeah, that's what I want to do. So for instance, asking, do we want to go get pizza for dinner tonight? Is that a yes or is that a no? And you can see even the body language of yes or no, and the more that you tap into that, the more you're going to be able to make these decisions. And then your intuition can just back that up. It might not care about pizza, but it might be like, oh yeah, adding this offer to your business is going to be really vital and important, or expansion in this way, does that sound, you can ask yourself questions like, is that the direction I want to go into? yes or no. And you can kind of feel into that. And the more that you tap into those feelings, just like building a muscle, right, with weights, the more that muscle becomes strong. So that feeling of a yes is what you're looking for. And you can tap into that as well within your manifesting generator type. Okay. I want to share with you one more thing on your chart. And this is, so on your chart, there are all these pathways on your chart, right? And some are colored in, some are halfway, some are all the way colored in between defined centers. And one of them is the spleen to the throat. This is a 1648. And this is from your intuition to your throat. Your throat is all about manifestation and communication. And this is, you have a natural talent to share your enthusiasm. You apply your skills with enthusiasm and dedication, and you share that with others. So you have the staying power to share and to uplift, and you own what you have, and you own it, and you bring that ability to other people as well. So, and that's a natural gift of this enthusiasm and dedication. So how do you see that enthusiasm and dedication with your clients?
One of my clients coined the phrase enthusiasm because I believe one of my strongest gifts or talents or whatever is the ability to celebrate other people's successes. And I feel like that is a huge part of what I do. In that I help people. That's really one of the mindset shifts I make is for my clients, my friends, my family. I really help them focus on what they are accomplishing and not spend so much time on what we lack. Especially in health, that's usually what people say, oh, I need to do that differently, or I should be doing that, or, those kind of things are all going to bring that negative energy and make you dread what you're working on versus realizing, okay, I drank water today. I ran a mile last week, like those kind of things. If you're focusing on what you are doing, and that's a lot of what I try to help my clients see is focus on the good, focus on the progress, focus on what you are accomplishing, because that's where motivation comes from. That's where confidence comes from. And that's where your consistency comes from, because you can see, oh, actually, these little tiny changes are making the big differences. So that enthusiasm is a big deal in my life and in my business.
I love that. And it's like, we all need cheerleaders, and especially going into like the health areas and trying to, work on our bodies. We need, that people need those cheerleaders to say, hey, yes, you can do this. Look at what you're doing. You're doing so amazing. And you naturally have that gift. And so people are naturally attracted to that. And they love your enthusiasm. So the more that you share that and that encouragement, it draws new clients towards you. So that's a really empowering way to attract. Suzi, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for jumping on. This has been amazing. Where can people connect with you? Where can they get in touch with you? What are your coaching and things like that? All the things.
Sure. Yeah. You can find me on any social media platform at Suzi B Life. I have my podcast, and there's a Facebook group that goes with that, and it's called Habits and Humor. And it's a good show. We use embarrassing moments and funny stories to teach life lessons and habits. And so it makes it memorable, and it makes it fun, keeps it light, keeps it happy. And that's a big part of what we do there at Habits and Humor. So if you're a podcast listener, we'd love to have you in the audience. And if you're looking for a personal trainer or a bit of accountability or this kind of thing where I can help you, focus on the things you are doing and do the little things. What can I do right now? If you need that kind of help, that kind of guidance, sign up for one of my personal training programs. You can go to SuziBHabits.com, SuziBHabits.com, and you've got my one-to-one mobile personal trainer programs on there. And this is a new program that we've just started, and it's built for those who are on a tight schedule or a tight budget, and you don't think you have the access for that kind of direct support. The biggest complaints I've gotten over the years are, I can't afford a personal trainer. I don't live in a place where I can get to a personal trainer, or I work out at home. and it's inconsistent. I can't be consistent with it. So I built this program to make it so that you can be consistent. You can do little tiny things in your busy, busy lives that make a massive difference. And you can do it all from the convenience of your phone. For whatever, price point works for you, there are lots of options on here to make it so that I just really want this one-to-one kind of help and support and coaching and personal training to be available to anybody. And if any of those reasons, your schedule, your money, or your access is one of the reasons you haven't had this kind of one-to-one before, that is gone now. Now you have access, you have the ability to afford it, and you have the ability to stay consistent with it every single day. So that's at SuziBHabits.com.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's so cool, because it is that accessibility is a big barrier for people. So I love that. Well, thank you again, Suzi, so much for sharing your insights, your soul, your journey with us. And we're grateful to have you on. Thank you so much.
This was really interesting. I appreciate it. Thank you for reading my chart.
All right, we'll see you. Oh, you guys, that was so amazing. I love, and this happens all the time to me, and it makes me so happy, is when I see people and I read their chart, they're like, oh my goodness, yes, that's me. What is so special about really being seen? What is so important about being seen? It's that acceptance, right? That awareness. And then we take those action steps to move into really micro betterments, daily practices that help us become. You guys, I have a beautiful guest on next week, so make sure you drop in here. I forgot to mention that the next episode of Become dropped already, so jump over there. Make sure you're subscribing on that so you get notified and you get the downloads as well. The guest is Cynthia Stant. She coaches 7-figure business bosses all over the world, and she is a manifester, and it's a beautiful episode sharing how she is opening up to her manifestor abilities and has thrived as a manifester. All right, so jump on there, and we'll put all the links in the notes today in the comment section as well, and let's rise to thrive. I'll see you guys next time.